What is up, YouTube? Welcome back to my channel. It is your boy D Dyson. Today I wanted to give a full spoiler review on Bohemian Rhapsody. And Bohemian Rhapsody is a biopic of the legendary rock band Queen, and it's centered more around Freddie Mercury and just showing the creative process of how they made some of their biggest records and how they just came up as a band. Just exploring the whole dynamic leading up to Live Aid, which is arguably the greatest performance ever by a band or musician. I love this movie. This movie had great undertones in it. You got to see kind of a rags to riches story. It also explored that dynamic of, you can have everything in the world, but if you don't have your family, then you don't have anything. And that was just kind of like the tragic story of Freddie Mercury. Now, as I explained in my trailer reaction, Freddie Mercury was one of a unique talent that his range of his voice was bar none one of the best. He can sing with the best, like meaning that he was an operatic singer, that can do. His range of voice can just go from high to low, any pitch, and he had a farther range than most operatic singers. I just love that dynamic where they came from how Freddie Mercury changed his name into Freddie Mercury, exploring aspects of I did not know that he was from his origin country was from India, and he just didn't look Indian. It's just always saying like he was British, he was from London, but I really like that aspect of it and how he was a baggage handler for the airport when he was actually discovered. I love the emotional undertone of this movie because about 4 times I wanted to tear up and cry. Like it was 4 times literally. I'm just like, this guy is so talented, but yet he's longing to belong, and for a homosexual guy in the 70s and early 80s, it was passe that you couldn't even come out to be openly gay. So he always had to blanket that and closet that, like he had to close that off until only a certain amount of people could actually know who he actually was. You could tell that took a traumatic stance for him where he just was like, only a certain amount of people can go. So that's what made him want to just, be alive in that sense. He was like, well, when he made it big, he just had that need. Looking at this story, especially with Freddie Mercury, I want to say like, with him and Mary, I don't know. I just felt like, in that movie aspect, when he finally meets Mary and he's talking about her coat, and then he walks into her job one day and he's trying on women's clothes, and she kind of, to me, that hinted at, okay, yeah, you got feminine ways. She just said you're more of a risk taker, but I just kept thinking to my mom, like, well, yeah, you probably know that this guy is gay, but you just happen to fall in love with him, which is totally fine. But I just think that aspect of the movie could have been false, could or could not be, don't know. I love Queen as a band. They all stuck together. Like no matter what, they stuck together. They all had this certain type of unique. They all understood each other in a weird, unique way. And you could tell they're all college friends, the way they bag on each other. They always talk about one another. One was supposed to be an astrophysicist. One was supposed to be a dentist. The other was supposed to be an engineer. And then Freddie Mercury was a fashion designer. So it was just like, they're all smart. And that's why I think that's what made them work, because they were really smart, like all of them. So when it comes to the music, Freddie was the voice to carry them through, but they all had the creative process of making their music sound unique and standing the test of time is legendary, because just by the way that how they were smart. And I love watching how they made the Bohemian Rhapsody song. And I'm like, man, I felt like with this movie, they could have explored a little bit more how they made the creative process on how they made We Will Rock You, We Are the Champions, and some of their hits like Radio Gaga. I wanted to see the creative process, how they made that. And the only one gripe I had about this movie was when they did We Will Rock You, like Freddie Mercury was already sporting that 80s look, and We Will Rock You came out in like 76, 77. That was like the only gripe I ever had about this movie. Like, I wish they would have did it right after Bohemian Rhapsody, because basically We Will Rock You came out right after Bohemian Rhapsody, which made them successful because, you know, in the movie, Bohemian Rhapsody wasn't a good song at all. What made that, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody pop off was We Will Rock You. That's what made them a rock band. That's how they got to tour the US, was We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions. But they made it seem like We Will Rock You was way later after Bohemian Rhapsody. So that was like the only gripe I ever had about the movie. Other than that, this movie is a 10 out of 10. This is, bar none, in my top 3 biopic movies. Number 1 is Straight Outta Compton. Number 2 is Ray, and number 3 is Bohemian Rhapsody. I feel like certain actors are born to play biopic roles. I look at Jamie Foxx as Ray Charles. He was born to play Ray Charles, just as Rami Malek was born to play Freddie Mercury. Like, he embodied Freddie Mercury. When I seen Rami Malek and just watching this movie, I'm like, dude, you're totally somebody else. Like, you're totally somebody else. I can't even see you out of character other than you're Freddie Mercury. Like, you're a living, breathing Freddie Mercury. And I'm just like, that was really, really cool. I look at Freddie Mercury's life as tragic. Like, it was truly tragic by Paul Printer, who I guess is his name, just being a conniving snake that he was. And Freddie would just, you know, follow him to the ends of earth until he found out that this guy isn't good for me, you know. And it took Mary to, you know, in the movie, it took Mary to be like, okay, yeah, this guy isn't good for you. But, you know, when I read the facts, that it was kind of like way later, you know, after Live Aid, that this guy really isn't good for me, you know. And then he goes on TV and airs out all of Freddie Mercury's business. And I'm just like, yeah, you could tell this guy was just not a good person from the begin with. He was just so jealous. He was always jealous. And it ended up, quote unquote, killing Freddie Mercury in the long run. You know, if he had somebody around him that was stable, that was like, look, you know, like just really looking out for him, I feel like Freddie Mercury would still be alive to this day. That's just really how I feel personally. But it's just seeing this guy's talent was just, bar none, one of the best. And then, you know, when that aspect of the movie where he was like, I want to go solo, you know, we did this for a long time, was always the same, you know, thing was getting boring, you know, make an album, go tour, make an album, go tour. I want to go solo. The band was just, you know, it made me emotional to be like, man, look, you know, you don't understand that you need us just as much as we need you. So you can't do anything solo because you're always going to need us. And when he got the opportunity to go solo, he just saw that it wasn't for him. You know, it's just like balls in your court. You make your own rules. This guy's partying every night, having crazy orgies, just, you know, then he started doing cocaine and it just wasn't good, you know, and he was like, and that's what, you know, got him AIDS. He was getting sick and he left that comfort zone of his friends, you know, family telling him like, look, you need to chill out. You need to do this. That's why you get into arguments, you know, because they're always telling you right. And I've always believed, you know, people who always gets in an argument with you, you know, because they love you, they try to do the best for you, you know, and that was his bandmates with him. And then he didn't understand it until it was almost too late. You know, he came up, you know, he was like, look, I want to do Live Aid. I'm so sorry. You know, I'm like, I was being a diva and all this other stuff. And he finally understood the importance and the value of his family, you know, because he always felt like he never needed it. And it was just, to me, really tragic that this guy had everything in the world and he doesn't have nothing because he doesn't have family. Lonely, as the band got successful, they had wife, they had kids, and he was just all alone. You know, he just had Paul and whoever he was bringing over to the house. He was just basically like, you know, he's alone. And Mary, when Mary found out that, you know, he was gay, that she was like, I can't be with you. I wish I could, but, you know, I just, you know, I long for having a family and doing that whole ordeal, you know, and that's, Freddie didn't understand that for a long time until he just was like, you know what, you know, I get it, you know, I truly get it. That's why he had all those cats. I see how the movie built up to Live Aid. Like, that was like, you get to see their ups and downs, their pitfalls, their success, and then it leads up to their performance at Live Aid, which is their peak performance of them being legendary, you know, because of that one performance. And it was pretty cool how they built it up. A lot of biopics, they love to try to end on a high note. Always build up. I was, you know, a douche, I was an asshole, and then, you know, I was successful. It's just, you explore all three dynamics of their life. You know, it's personal, it's business, you know, and performances. So that's what, to me, a biopic is supposed to give. And I feel like Bohemian Rhapsody did that. Looking at Live Aid, I'm just kind of like, wow, dude. I'm like, that spawned me to want to go watch the actual Live Aid when I got home to watch YouTube. I wanted to get on YouTube to look at the actual Live Aid, because looking at Live Aid, you know, Bohemian Rhapsody, I was like, dude, you had the crowd in your hands. Like, literally, you have the world in your palm of your hand. When, you know, just how they explained it, that all these good bands are here, you know, all these legendary bands. And, you know, we're kind of like an old band, haven't had real good hits, you know, lately, but it's just, we're the old guys here, basically. And you just seen how, you know, they just took control over Live Aid. Like, nobody knows any other band that was at Live Aid except Queen. Like, Queen, that was actually just there for them. Like, that performance is just, you know what, Queen, Live Aid. That's just two things that, you know, I feel like should be on the lips of, if you remember Live Aid, then you just know it was Queen. Queen killed that whole thing. And based on this movie, you could tell they just killed it. Like, they killed it. So yeah, I really feel like this was a really good biopic. This gives a 10 out of 10 for me. I really hope Rami Malek is in the Oscar running for portraying Freddie Mercury. I know he's probably going to be going against Bradley Cooper and Lady Gaga, but yeah, he better get the Oscar for this, because he embodied Freddie Mercury, and I didn't think that was possible, dude. And I'm just like, yeah, this guy took some time to really embody him. And it just, you know, you could just tell that, you know, he did it through and through. He did a really good job on that. So I give this a 10 out of 10. So post your comments down below if you agree with me on my reaction or on my review of Bohemian Rhapsody. Subscribe to my channel, like this video, and share with your friends. It is your boy, D. Dyson. Peace.